Well, it's been more than 7 years since 3-year-old Matthew Maison was found dead in his Port Huron Township home. For years, there were no arrests and very few updates on the investigation. That is, until today, when the boy's mother, Amanda Maison, was charged with his murder.
Also facing charges is this man, Maurice Huell. He also faces a murder charge. Local 4's Shantae Passmore covered the hearing today. Shantae, what are family and friends saying about this breakthrough in the case?
Well, you guys, for this community, this day has been 7 years in the making to keep Matthew Maison's story alive. Many people had put yard signs on their property, worn orange t-shirts, even this bracelet, orange being his favorite color. And tonight we should warn some viewers that they may find some of these allegations to be disturbing.
What happened to Matthew Maison? Behind his big bright eyes and smiling cheeks, St. Clair County prosecutors believe his mom and this man know.
You are aware that you're facing 1 count of homicide, felony murder.
Virtually, the pair appeared in court for the first time.
On this occasion, he was beaten, I'd say within an inch of his life, but he was murdered that night under the care and guidance of both Maurice and Amanda.
The people shared how Amanda Maison skipped a doctor visit to avoid explaining injuries on her son's body. The prosecution claimed the child suffered cruel, torturous child abuse and punishment under the hands of his mom and her then boyfriend, Maurice Huell. In court, the hearings detailed how CPS investigated the home repeatedly. Since his death, a justice movement began for the little boy.
If you don't constantly keep it up and make them aware of it, I feel like people think, oh, 2 weeks ago, well, you know, everything gets shoved under the rug a lot of times.
On Friday, the sheriff arrested a duo, citing the arrest came after significant recent developments. For 7 years, family and friends in St. Clair County supported Matthew Mason's grandparents, all waiting for this moment.
I feel like we're just beginning.
A mother's betrayal. The Amanda Maison story, when love turned deadly. Welcome to Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales. I'm your host, and today's episode takes us inside one of the most disturbing and heartbreaking cases in recent memory. The story of a mother who chose her new relationship over her own child. This is the tragic case of Amanda Maison and her 3-year-old son, Matthew. It began in a quiet Michigan neighborhood, Port Huron Township. A small community where people waved at each other across driveways, where children's laughter echoed down cul-de-sacs. 3-year-old Matthew Maison was part of that world, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy who loved toy trucks and bedtime stories. Neighbors remember him as joyful, always smiling. But behind the doors of the Maison home, something was terribly wrong. Amanda Maison, 33, was raising Matthew alone after separating from his father. In 2016, she began dating a man named Maurice Huell. At first, friends say he seemed charming, stable, protective, but soon that image fractured. What no one saw was that Amanda's parenting changed the moment Huell entered her life. According to investigators, he didn't want a toddler around. He wanted a fresh start, a new baby with Amanda. And Amanda, desperate to please him, began to see her son not as her child, but as an obstacle. Police reports and court filings describe months of escalating cruelty. Huell and Amanda created what prosecutors later called a house of punishment. Matthew was forced into military-style timeouts, kneeling in front of the wall for hours, his tiny head pressed against it. Sometimes, he was denied food or water. Other times, Amanda shoved his head into the wall herself. CPS had been alerted at least once after a relative noticed bruises, but when investigators arrived, Amanda denied any abuse. She even said she saw Huell hurt Matthew, then retracted the statement days later, afraid she'd lose her boyfriend. That choice would cost her son his life. It was February 18th, 2018. Amanda put Matthew to bed after another long timeout. By morning, he was unresponsive. She called 911, claiming he had simply stopped breathing. But paramedics knew instantly something was wrong. Matthew's body showed bruises, old and new, and signs of head trauma. When the autopsy came back, the result was clear. Homicide. Detectives questioned Amanda for hours. At first, she blamed Huell. Then, she said she was just following instructions. Finally, She broke down and admitted that she herself had shoved Matthew's head into the wall the night before. She said she just lost control, but prosecutors said otherwise. They called it calculated, a decision to make room for a new baby with her boyfriend, a child they believed would fit better into their plans. For 7 years, the case lingered in limbo. Investigators never stopped working, quietly gathering evidence, tracking how, re-examining autopsy results. Then in 2025, the truth finally broke open. Amanda Maison and Maurice Howell were both arrested. She faced first-degree murder charges. As the trial loomed, Amanda made a stunning move. She pleaded guilty to second-degree homicide. In exchange, she agreed to testify against her boyfriend. At her plea hearing in St. Clair County Circuit Court, Amanda's voice trembled as she described what happened that night. She admitted to the physical abuse. She admitted she allowed Howell to punish Matthew. And she admitted that she lied to authorities to protect him. The judge asked, "You understand you caused the death of your son?" Amanda whispered, "Yes, I do." Her plea means she faces up to life in prison, though prosecutors will recommend a reduced sentence if she testifies truthfully at Howell's upcoming trial. Port Huron Township was left in disbelief. A candlelight vigil was held for Matthew. Tiny shoes placed beneath flickering candles. Photos of him smiling beside toy trucks. Sheriff Matt King told reporters, "Matthew is finally getting the justice he deserves." The dedication to this case has been unwavering. Online, the phrase #JusticeForMatthew spread across social media. Advocates called the case a tragic example of how child abuse can hide behind a family's closed doors, and how silence can be deadly. Amanda Maison's story is one of betrayal, not only of motherhood, but of humanity itself. A mother's love is supposed to protect, nurture, and sacrifice. But Amanda chose a man and a fantasy over her child's life. Her guilt, her tears in court, her cooperation now, none of it can bring Matthew back. He was 3 years old. He loved cars. He deserved to grow up. Matthew Maison's life reminds us why we must never ignore the signs of abuse, even when it comes from those who should love us most. If you or someone you know suspects a child is being harmed, call your local authorities or child protection hotline. Because silence, as this case shows, can kill. This has been Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales. If you found this story important, please follow, rate, and share the podcast. Your voice keeps these stories alive and helps fight for those who can't speak for themselves. This episode is based on verified public records, police reports, and media coverage from People, Law and Crime, Click on Detroit, and WHLX News. All individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Listener discretion is strongly advised due to disturbing content involving child abuse and homicide.